Welcome back to our channel again. We are Marinas Coaching Academy, and today I have come with a very important topic on demand, restricted visibility. And so many students had called me up and they had requested me that, sir, please make one video on RV. So I'm going to explain it in a detailed manner and how you can make a base, and then we will also discuss one situation where we will try to solve it by using my methods or my techniques. Okay, so as to start with, every oral you will get this restricted visibility, OW, chief made masters, and I always tell my students that RV can make you fail your orals in a blink of eye. So remember, guys, if your orals are very well and they are going very well smoothly, and in the end you're thrown RV situation at the end of examination, and if you're not able to answer that, you fail your orals. As simple as that. Okay, so today we are going to solve that radar plot. How I'm going to solve that? So we have to make a base first. So let's start with 19D, a very important part of rule number 19. A vessel which detects by a radar alone presence of another vessel shall determine if close quarter situation is developing or ROC exists. So what he is trying to say over here is that if your vessel is fitted with radar, and if by using a radar, so if you're an officer watch and you're standing on a bridge, you have only two things. One is ARPA, another is by sight, right? Now, the sight is not available to you because it is restricted visibility. So another thing is what? It also says hearing. So you have only two things. One is radar and another is hearing. So you have a person standing, on the bridge wing, or, stationed at the forecastle if you want him to do so, or you have people inside a bridge, extra lookouts, which are hearing, and what they are hearing is fog signals of other vessels. And same thing you can verify on the ARPA also. And if there is a presence of any vessel and it is ending up in a close quarter situation, right, or ROC, risk of collision, and if you are taking action as an officer watch, you are thinking what to do, and if you are thinking of alteration of course, then following should be avoided. But they have also written so far as possible. So far as possible. We can also take a leverage of that. Okay, how to take a leverage of this term, I will tell you later in the video. All right. So if you're thinking of the alteration, then following should be avoided. Okay. So what it is telling you is that take action in ample time. Again, it is connecting you to rule number 8. And rule number 8 has always told you that you should take action in ample time the under an exercise good seamanship to avoid such kind of situation. So again, it is connecting back to rule number 8. And if you're thinking of taking the action and that action is alteration, that following should be avoided. So what does it say? There is a diagram also on the screen. It says alteration of port for a vessel forward of your beam. Okay, other than a vessel being overtaken. So what it is saying here is that you should not alter, you should not alter, okay, you should not alter to port. Okay, if you have a vessel forward of your beam, you should not alter to port other than vessel being overtaken. So if you have a vessel, so for example, in this case, if you are somewhere here at the center of the screen, okay, and if you're at the center of screen and you've been overtaken by this vessel, okay, then that vessel can also go to port and starboard, and you can also go to port and starboard. Remember, in RV, no vessel is stand on. Everybody is a giveaway vessel, right? So it is not like that if somebody is overtaking you, just standing in the middle. No, you also need to go on the either way, starboard or port, right? Same way, overtaking vessel can also go to starboard and port. Okay. If you have vessel forward of your beam, say somewhere here a vessel is there, where that red dot or a blip is on your screen. If there is a vessel somewhere in that sector, then obviously you need to alter to starboard, because going on a port, it is clearly mentioned forward of a beam, you cannot do that. Same, when a blip moves to this sector, right, again the vessel is forward of your beam, so you can either alter to starboard or slow down. That is the only option you have in that sector, right? Now I'm going to the second part. It says alteration towards vessel beam abaft the beam. So if I am coming in this sector, okay, and in that sector where I've just moved the red blip, it says that in that sector, okay, and clearly that vessel is indicating, that blip is indicating the position of a vessel. It is beam or above the beam. So is it in this case above the beam? So if it is above the beam, you should not alter towards the vessel. So where you go in that sector, you go to starboard. If I move the blip to beam, right, in that case, again, you will not go towards the vessel, you will go opposite. So you will again go starboard. Now I'm coming to this sector where you cannot again alter towards the vessel a beam or above the beam. So you are in this sector now where the red blip is. So you will go to port or slow down. If you are at the beam, right, then again you will alter course to port. You will not go towards the vessel. Okay. So that is what rule 19D says about the alteration. Obviously, you have the second option is slow down, which you can do. Always you can do, but first preference is always given to the alteration of the speed. Remember, in rule number 8, we have studied that alteration of course is the best action to avoid collision, if provided you pass the other vessel in with the sufficient sea room. If you have got the sufficient sea room, you pass the other vessel with a good CPA, right? So always you will give preference to alteration, right? Now, I have another thing which I want to tell you is there is something called a sector of discomfort. A sector of discomfort which I have made somewhere here. Okay, sector of discomfort, and I have made it over here. Right? Now, what is the sector of discomfort and why it is called sector of discomfort? From where this term has come. So I would like to tell you that on the next slide. Let's go on the next slide then. Okay, now, if you see on your screen, it is sector of discomfort. On the previous slide, I already told you that you are located at the center. So if you're located at the center, and if we are thinking that the blue line is the beam of your vessel, okay, right? And the target vessel is on your starboard side, but it is in a very close quarter situation. It is in a very close quarter situation. So this is very, very close quarter situation, and it is very, very close to you. Okay, obviously this vessel is forward of your beam because this is your beam, right? Your bridge wing is your beam of the vessel. So you're standing on the wings of the vessel and you're thinking that what to do with the vessel which is on your starboard side, right? In that case, if vessel is forward of your beam, remember, as per 19Ds, you should go to starboard, but it becomes very tricky, right? It becomes very tricky. So exercise either reduction of speed or use the leverage so far as possible. How to use so far as possible? We'll get to that. First, I want to tell you reduction of speed. Now, in this case, if you do reduction of speed, or if you go ahead and if you do reduction of speed, right? If you do reduction, then what will happen is, then obviously, if you see your ARPA, and ARPA will be something like this, right? So I am going to draw, okay, this is your radar screen over here. Okay, and you are seeing this target like this. Okay, so if the target is somewhere here It is coming very, very close to you, right? It is almost coming very, very close to you, and it is having a 0 CPA. Okay, it is having a 0 CPA. So this is O, this is A, and it is coming very, very close to you. In that sense, if you are at the center, if you're somewhere here, and if you do reduction of speed, what will happen is OA, which was giving you 0 CPA, obviously the OA will change, right? OA will start now doing something like this. Okay, OA will start doing something like this. It will start, going like this, right? So what has happened is the line of approach has changed, and obviously now you're getting some bow crossing range. Okay, now you're getting some bow crossing range. So पहले जो OA बिल्कुल center पे आ रहा था, it was coming at the center and it was trying to hit you as a target vessel. Now it is not going to happen like that, because you've done a drastic reduction of your speed, right? And obviously once you do a reduction of speed and it is apparent to the other vessel and it is large enough, as they say, okay, so the OA will also change and OA will start cutting you, and the bow crossing range, you will start getting a good opening CPA on your ARPA. Okay, so why I'm calling it a sector of discomfort? Obviously the vessel is forward of your beam, but if you would have altered to starboard, in that case you have come into a close quarter situation with that vessel, or maybe you would have banged that vessel also. Instead of that, what you can do is you can do a reduction of speed. Other thing is that so far as possible you can take a leverage of that also, right? Right, so now if you apply 19D, obviously you are going to come into close quarter situation or ROC. So instead of going to starboard, so far as possible, you've done everything. Now you cannot avoid that situation, so you've gone on the opposite side. Okay, so far as possible means you can still go on the port side, but remember that it needs to be justified. If that vessel is very, very close to you, say it is coming in your turning circle, okay, you are a big large container ship, and that vessel, if you turn somewhere, you will be touching that vessel, or you will come in contact with this vessel, so then you cannot alter to port. Okay, so you should be very, very careful of referring to your maneuvering diagrams also. What is your turning ability and how much time you will take to turn and how much area you need or require to turn, right? So in this case, the better answer for sector of discomfort is always a reduction. So do that in case if surveyor is also putting you in that kind of a situation. Okay, also I would like to add something over here, that sometimes surveyors are also humans. They also make mistakes of considering vessel beam as bow, which is not true. Okay, right? Because on the screen, on the ARPA, when you are given a radar plot, you will not see a vessel like this. Obviously, you will not see a vessel like this, right? A bow or a beam. So sometimes you will get such kind of situation. Then if that is the case, you reduce your speed, and that will be the better answer. Reduce, simply reduce. Okay, understood? All right. Now let's clear that and let's go to the next slide, where I will be teaching you the golden rules of how to tackle a RV situation. Now, the golden rules, pay attention to this, because now the real game starts. Okay. Okay. So always remember, if you are shown the first blip, so for example, you are shown a first blip like this over here. Okay. So if the first blip is shown, it is scanty radar info as per rule number 7C. Remember, rule number 7C, okay, it says assumptions shall not be made on a basis of scanty information, especially scanty radar information. Why that rule is separating scanty information and scanty radar information? Because it wants to create something in your head that scanty radar information is also there. So please please pay attention to scanty radar information as well, because scanty radar information can lead to more disaster than a scanty information, right? Okay, so first blip is shown, so it is just a scanty information. Tell surveyor that, sir, it is a scanty radar information as 7C, and 7C says that assumptions shall not be made on a scanty information, especially scanty radar information, and a special significance has been given to a scanty radar information in that in 7C, in that particular paragraph, right? Now, if the surveyor shows you the second blip, which is here, then what you will say is, you will say, I will commence systematic radar plotting. Okay, so one more blip is there, so you will start, or you will commence your systematic radar plot. And then once you get the third plot, what you will say to the surveyor, that I will complete the plot. Okay, remember, you need 3 blips to complete the plot. Do not take action just seeing the line of approach. What is this OA? Everybody knows in radar plotting, we have been taught enough. This is a line of approach. Don't take action only on line of approach. If you take action on line of approach, obviously you will fail your orals, because it is still a scanty information, right? Without completing the plot, without doing it, you cannot take the action. Okay, you've just taken the action on a scanty information, which means you will again fail your orals. Okay, now what is the trick to remember this? If you see O means, oh, what is this? As an officer watch, you are telling your AB and you are telling your AB and you're thinking also, Are, oh, what is this? And once you get A, it means, aha, I got it. Okay, so O means, oh, what is this? So it is just scanty information. And A means, aha, I got it, which means that now you can go ahead and complete the plot. So remember this golden rules. I've told you first, second, and third point, 3 points. First blip is a scanty radar information as per rule number 7C. Assumption shall not be made on that scanty information. Second blip is commence systematic radar plot. And third blip, you should say, I will complete the plot. Remember, you need 3 blips to complete the plot. Don't take action just seeing line of approach. Okay, understood? Now, the rules will continue, okay? And the rules are complete the plot. So now I have completed the plot. You are doing a course of 000 true, right? Over here, right? And now I have completed the plot. So WO is way on, right? And it will be the parallel line, same as the course your vessel is doing, which is 000 true. So I have drawn that. WA will be your target course, and obviously OA is your line of approach. Now remember, guys, do not forget the arrows. Arrows are very, very important. So WO arrow will go in the direction of your vessel course, right? And WA obviously will go that way towards the A. And where your target is always at A, right? And line of approach will always be like this. Okay, so you have got 3 arrows. Please draw that. Nowadays in the orals, you are also thrown a radar plotting sheet. So complete that. Now what you do is, the 5th step is extend OA and see if the target is risk of collision or a close quarter situation. Okay, so risk of collision obviously determine if the CP is 0 or say 0.5 nautical mile, for example, and it is a very close quarter situation. Also, close quarter situation depends on what is written in your BPM. Say, for example, in your BPM, it is written that in coastal water, you need to maintain 1 nautical mile. So 1 nautical mile also becomes one lesser than that. Whatever, say 0.9 or 0.8 becomes a close quarter situation for you as per your company's BPM, and BPM is directly connected to your SMS, and SMS is connected to ISM, ISM is connected to Solus, so everything is correlated. So you need to properly think about what is your close quarter situation in your head. Okay, also close quarter situation will depend on many factors like maneuverability of a vessel. Okay, right? So also refer to your maneuvering diagram. Okay, right? Now, sixth step is draw a beam of your vessel and target vessel's beam. So you will make your vessel beam, you will establish where your beam is. For example, on a radar screen, obviously, this is your beam. Okay, right? So this is your beam, right? Okay, and this is your beam on the port side. Okay, right? And vessel beam will be somewhere here. Okay, so vessel beam, if target is at A and WA is like that, so it will be almost 90 degree to WA. So I will just try to make that. So vessel target vessel beam will be somewhere there, right? Then seventh step will be apply 19D. 19D, I made a diagram here also, and I have already told you that in that diagram, okay, forward of the beam, okay, for a vessel forward of the beam, you cannot go to port. So obviously you will go to starboard in that sector which is forward of your beam. Abaft of your beam, or if the vessel is at beam, you will not alter towards the vessel. Okay, so you will go to the opposite direction. So all that sectors are mentioned there. So one sector over here, you will go to port, and for this sector, you will go to starboard. Okay, and for the other two sectors, you will go to starboard each. Okay, right? Because it is forward of your beam. Number 8 step is think of reduction if alteration is not enough. If you are not able to comply with the diagram which is there, then you think about reduction of the speed. Okay, reduction of the speed. And if you're not able to solve through reduction also, then you come to the 9th step, which says so far as possible. Okay, you are ran out of options now. So what is your best bet is that you deviate. Okay, you're not deviating from the rule, you're taking a leverage of the term called so far as possible. That I've done and I've tried to do application of 19D. Okay, the diagram which I showed you, okay, forward of a beam or above the beam, I'm not able to do that, neither I'm able to solve it through reduction. So what are my best bets are so far as possible. So I can go to the best method, which is safeguarding my interest, and which is safeguarding the other vessels also, and keeping both the vessels away from each other at a good CPA. Okay, and 10th is if you are confused in exam with the multiple targets, then just slow down. If you're not able to do, if nothing is coming to your mind, just slow down. Again, I will like to tell you few things. Never say stand on in RV. Never. Okay. Okay. If you say I am a stand on vessel, then you fail your orals, because in RV, everybody is a give way vessel. Give way. Everybody is a give way vessel. Nobody is stand on. Remember that. Nobody is stand on. So I'm telling you this. Okay. Everybody is give way and nobody is stand on. Remember that. Okay. Another thing is that never say maneuvering signals that I will give one shot blast and alter course to starboard. You will again fail your orals, because you need to give fog signals. You don't need to give maneuvering signals. So I'm again telling you that if you are mentioning maneuvering signals, it is again wrong. Okay, you cannot do that. Maneuvering signals are big no. Okay, you only have to give fog signals in RB, and that is the way to go. Okay, all right, right. So now I'll go to the next one. So now this is what you will get in your orals, and let's say practice whatever we have understood in the previous what you call slides, and let's make the application of it. Okay, so this is your screen and Surveyor is showing this obviously to you in your orals. So first thing first, if he is saying or showing one blip, I again told you one blip is a scanty information. Second blip, if it is given to you, so let's see that. So if he is giving you, say, first blip, it is still a scanty information. Okay, first blip is still a scanty information. Second blip, you will start commence, you will start or commence your systematic radar plot, and the last third blip, if you get, you will complete the plot. Okay, in this case, surveyor has already given you enough information, all the blips. In fact, he has also given you the W. Okay, so now if he has given you the W, so you can go ahead and complete the plot. Okay, okay, so complete the plot. Before that, let's extend OA, line of approach. Okay, on extending line of approach, both the targets present risk of collision and CPA is 0, right? So I will name one target as target 1 and another target as target 2. Okay, all right. Now let's complete the plot. I have already done that for you, target 1 and target 2. So I have joined WO, that is way on. Okay, and I have joined WA as well. I have joined OA as well. Uh, I have also I have also like build the arrows. Okay, also made the arrows, and that is very very important as far as your exam is concerned, because you can also fail your orals if you make opposite arrows and show it to surveyor. If you will do that, you will fail your orals, because obviously you have no understanding of a radar plot. So I have already done that. I have completed the plot for you. Okay, okay, right. Now, draw on vessel beam and target vessel beam. So what I have done over here is target 1 and target 2, after completing the plot, okay, I have drawn the beam in a yellow color. Okay, so obviously I'm at the center. I have drawn my beam at the center. Okay, and you know that beam is obviously whatever course you're doing, 90-degree on the either side, you can draw your beam easily. Okay, once I have established WA, okay, now remember that WA. So your target vessel is always at A. Okay, is always at A, right? So when you are drawing the beam, just see WA, and roughly you can make a beam according to that. So WA, if it is going in that direction, okay, the beam will be okay somewhere here. I have drawn the beam. So I am at the center. I have drawn my beam. I have also drawn beam for target A. Target AWA is almost okay going in this direction. Okay, so the beam is almost coming to that one. Okay, 90-degree. Okay, then it is going in this direction. The beam is coming 90-degree to that course. So I have just drawn roughly. Okay, right. So once I have completed drawing the beam, now I will take the action. So for me, if I am here and I have the officer watch over here, right, what will I do? Both target 1 and target 2 are forward of my beam. If I extend my beam, okay, if I extend my beam here and here, both are forward of my beam, right? If both are forward of my beam, obviously I'll go to starboard. If you think about target 2, and if I extend his beam, again, both the vessels are, just a second. Okay, now it looks more precise. So both, for target 2 as well, both are forward of the beam. So he will also try to go to starboard if some officer watch is here, right? His head will also, and the rule also says starboard. For this also, I will go to starboard. Now, the vessel which is target 1, I have drawn a beam. If I extend the beam of that, okay, so roughly, if I extend the beam, almost I will be at the beam of that vessel or above the beam. Okay, okay, let's make it more precise. Okay, so if that is the case, okay, obviously, okay, I will be at the beam or above the beam. Okay, just a borderline case. So in that case, if that is the thing, okay, what will that vessel do? Okay, that vessel will obviously go to port if I am the officer watch over here. So he will think port, right? And that is how RV will solve your situation. And that is how RV is going to, or this rule 19 is going to solve your situation practically in life. Okay, let's go to the next slide and see. You see this. I have applied 19D. Obviously, after drawing the beam, that vessel, obviously, which is me at the center of the screen, it will go to starboard. For target 2, both the vessel, target 1 and me, are forward of the beam. He will also go to starboard. And that vessel, if I extend the line, I'll be at the beam or just behind the beam somewhere. But anyways, it doesn't matter. In both, I need to go to port, okay, as per rule number 19D. So applying 19D itself is solving my problem. Okay, so obviously all the vessels are going away from each other. So in that case, I will be 100% sure that my action is correct, right? My action is correct. There is no doubt. Okay, because all the vessels are moving away from each other, and that is how the application of 19D comes into picture over here. Okay, understood. So please remember that you need to take following steps. Okay, what is the first step? I am again repeating it. Please remember, guys, when you get such kind of a situation, remember the first step is draw OA, extend OA, and see if the risk of collision is existing or not. Right? Correct? First step is if risk of collision is existing or not, and you can only come to know that if you extend your vectors, if you extend your line of approach. If the CP is 0 or if it is coming into a close quarter situation, then what you will do is, okay, again, if surveyor has given you all the blips, it's okay. If not given, then the first blip is scanty information. You will say as per 7C, assumption cannot be made on a scanty radar information. Second blip, commence the systematic plot. And third blip, you will complete the plot, right? Then if he has given you already everything at your platter, say all W and O and A is given, you will say I'll complete the plot. Complete the plot, draw the arrows, pay attention to arrows, because if your arrows are wrong, again you will fail. WO the arrow will be in the same direction of the heading, okay, of obviously your own ship. Okay, WA will be in the direction of A, and OA obviously will be in the direction of A, right? Again, so draw your arrows well. After you've drawn your arrows, okay, then draw the beam of the vessel for your ship and the target vessel. Okay, and then think what you would have done as an officer of watch at each ship. Okay, like as I told you, I'm at the center of screen. So if I'm at that vessel, if I extend my beam, both vessels are forward of my beam, I would have gone to starboard. Target 2, both the vessels are forward of the beam. No need to think. Also, if your officer of watch both are forward of your beam, you will alter to starboard. The third vessel, which is target 1, obviously I am the closest one over there, over here, right, to that vessel. So I am obviously at the beam or just behind the beam or whatever it is, whatever that case may be, I will go to the port side, right? So all the vessels are moving away from each other, and they are happily moving away from each other, and there is no risk of collision in that case. Okay, so I know for a fact that my starboard action is 100%. Okay, and my starboard action is 100% justified. You can also justify it to a surveyor, and your action is correct, and that is how you can easily crack this kind of situations, RV situations, in your orals. So thank you very much for paying attention to the video. If you have such kind of situations in your mind or orals, you can also WhatsApp me. The number will be displayed at the end of the video, and I'll be happy to help you. You can also call me up, and then we'll be happy to solve your problems, whatever is there. Okay. So please apply this method. I hope this method will fetch you a lot of results in your orals. Thank you very much.